On behalf of all of us, my name is Beasley saying so long and good enjoy your evening tonight. Right now, Brendan Parker and also Ryan Dittrick standing by with the Ram post-game show brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row? That had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Calgary Flames 4-2 winners over the Dallas Stars. They open their final homestand of this regular season as we welcome you inside Flames post-game live. It's brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers, Brendan Parker, Ryan Dittrick. And not only is it the victory for the Calgary Flames, but it is also now officially a division title as they lock up top spot in the Pacific Division and home ice for at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. I know individual accomplishments, there's a little bit of that here tonight. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first and foremost, playoff-style game, as we talked about, back-to-back nights. First, it was Nashville, and then an opportunity to see Dallas, who continue to fight for a playoff spot. How did they get the job done here tonight?
Really tidy. You and I were sitting here in the third period thinking, we really like the way the Flames have managed this one, and rightfully so. I mean, Dallas was coming in already surrendering 11 goals on this Western, Canadian portion of their road trip. So things aren't going so well for them right now, and obviously desperate times. So they're going to come in and, play a very physical type of game. Like you said, playoff style, right? Get in hard on the forecheck. And for me, the question was, how well are the Flames going to come out and match that urgency? And they did just that all the way through. And sure, late in the third period, things start to get a bit greasy. You get a few bounces, just like you're going to see in the playoffs. That's where goals are scored. We saw a little bit more of that as the night progressed. And the Flames, as they've done all season, they just stuck with it.
Interesting, because, we heard about that after the game in Nashville on Tuesday about traffic in front. Andrew Mangiapane, both his goals right around the blue paint tonight. It hit bodies. They weren't necessarily your bodies, but either way, you had traffic in front, and that's how you earn some of those goals at this time of year.
Absolutely. And, so going back to last night for the Dallas Stars, that was a game where they surrendered way too much in the middle of the ice. I think Natural Stat Trick had the high danger looks at 19-5 in favor of Edmonton. So you look at the stat sheet tonight, much different story. Both sides, very difficult to get to the middle of the ice. So that's what you have to do in situations like that. Don't get too fancy with it. Get the pucks back to the point, filter them through traffic. And, sometimes you get a fortuitous bounce, but, you have guys in the right area. And again, that's where goals are scored at this time of year.
So with that, obviously up to 106 points now on the year. That is the third best by points, percentage of points in franchise history, second only to 1988-89 and, of course, 2018-2019. The significance of that, I guess, is interesting, but it's more so about the fact that you get opportunity now to play some home ice hockey. Start both the first 2 rounds at least on home ice. What is the significance of that for this group? Well,
we've seen it over the past few months, obviously an extended stay here at the Scotiabank Saddledome, and they've taken full advantage of that. They've been an extremely good home team, and Matthew Tkachuk this morning, again, the team has talked about it over and over again. They want to make this place a hard place to play, and it's been that way. So you look at the standings, and I know we're going to at some point during the show here, you start doing the math a little bit about who you might face in the first round, second round, third round. These are going to be difficult matchups, so any edge you can potentially get, and obviously being able to take care of business in your own barn, that's going to be crucial.
Well, let's take a look at how it happened here tonight. And we mentioned tight checking, low event in the early part of this game. Chances started to come as the game went on, but we got our first goal of this hockey game in the second period, and it comes on the power play. Here's the individual milestone we talked about, and nice play by Matthew Tkachuk down below the goal line where he does so much of his good work. 40th of the season and 100th point of the year.
And you said it, right? Nothing fancy, but how many times have we seen Matthew Tkachuk get his points, score goals in this fashion? A little bit gritty, and that's what you want to see, especially in a game like this where we knew offense was going to be hard to come by. What a reaction, by the way, from his teammates. That's just great stuff.
Yeah, it was outstanding. And obviously heard from him in the second intermission, said that moment meant a lot, and a nice little standing ovation from the home crowd as well as he does it on home ice. But the moment in terms of the team was short-lived because Dallas on a power play of their own get it right back. Jason Robertson scores his 38th of the season and continues to roll for the Stars.
Oh, so good. Sophomore year for the Dallas Stars. They probably wouldn't be in the situation they are if it wasn't for him. And impressive shot. I mean, there are very few players in this league that can gain that kind of velocity with no windup there.
So that's where we stood through 40 minutes, tied 1-1, but in the second period, you see the ice is still shiny, and it's a point shot. There's the traffic. It doesn't hit that traffic from a Flames perspective. It does hit Miro Heiskanen, and it's a goal for Noah Hanifin.
You know, not just the way the game was trending, but this has sort of been what we've been seeing from Noah Hanifin over the past few weeks, right? He's getting more power play time, but even at even strength, he's really focusing on getting pucks to the net. It's obviously paying off right now.
20 seconds in, and the Flames go back out in front, 9th of the season for Hanifin, but again, Dallas has an answer, and this one comes right back the other way. Jacob Markstrom makes the first stop, and it's Glendening who puts in the rebound.
Frederick Carlson, first NHL point, too, comes in tonight for Alexander Radulov. Nice little speed burst there, and you know, Noah Hanifin didn't do anything wrong. That's just a good battle right to the net.
So Luke Glendening gets the equalizer, and back and forth we shall go. And here's another point shot, but again, traffic getting to the front of the net. Michael Backlund there again, and he's doing the point. So he's giving credit to the teammate. That's important because Tanev gets the goal.
Yeah, you said it as we were watching the game. That's a good alternate captain right there, right? Not selfish. He knows the guy that does so much for this team. And I don't know, we have to look at the stat sheet, but he's putting up numbers this year, Brendan.
That's a career high for Chris Tanev. In fact, only one defenseman doesn't have a career high in points this season. That's Nikita Zadorov, but he's only one off that mark anyway. Yeah. So here's the empty netter that seals it. I almost had to look at that one again, too, because Toffoli was right there. Actually goes through his legs. And as it stands right now, the credit goes to Andrew Mangiapane, who continues to eclipse his career high and set a new benchmark up to now 35 goals on the season. So the Calgary Flames now have four 35-plus goal scorers, but three guys within the conversation of 40, and now Andrew Mangiapane knocking on the door as well. But let's go back before we hear from head coach Darryl Sutter. A thought on Matthew Tkachuk and the milestone here tonight. 40th of the season, first time he's reached that mark, first time he's hit 100 points.
To me, it's incredible because we've talked so much about Johnny Gaudreau hitting that milestone just last week, and rightfully so. It gains so much of our attention. That's a massive milestone to hit, but Matthew Tkachuk all season has been the straw for this Flames offense. And, you know, I don't know if we're talking about him enough, and that's crazy to think given the type of season he's had, but keep in mind, Matthew Tkachuk, 24 years old, and he's already got 100 points in the National Hockey League. So we don't know if this is going to be a ceiling for him or if he's got more in the toolbox going in the next couple of seasons, because he's still a few away from hitting his prime. But this is really impressive stuff for a young player. Yeah,
it certainly is, and pretty cool to see two 100-point players for the Calgary Flames, just the fourth time in franchise history that's happened, and one of those was actually with the Atlanta Flames. So third time in Calgary Flames history. There you see marking the puck, and it's a double milestone, goal number 40, point number 100 for Matthew Tkachuk. All right, let's hear from the head coach, Darryl Sutter, standing by as we continue our post-game show. Our first reaction now, here's Darryl Sutter.
Congrats on the division title. What does that mean to you and your group?
Team deserves it. Been the most consistent team in the division, so deserve to win the division, regular season. Won lots of them. Just goes up there, don't get nothing for it.
What's the challenge for the last 4 games?
Pardon?
What's the challenge now for the last 4 games? Now
Beat Vancouver Saturday. Would be the first one.
Does it change your mindset at all in terms of who you might start in net?
When? The next 4 games? Oh. He's had lots of breaks this year. You guys should dig into it a little bit more. You had a 17-day break. You had a 9-day break. You had another 7-day break. If we play him 1 or 2 of these last, he's probably going to get a 4 or 5-day break, and then another 4 or 5-day break. He's had lots of breaks. We could have, Eric, we could address that in a different fashion, but, when you're used to not making the playoffs or losing the first round, then you play 2 goalies.
What was just your overall assessment of what you saw out there for the tonight?
Dallas plays that real chip to speed game, right? And they're really good at it. And you just have to get in front of them, run legal interference, and then not hope for a break, but get a break somewhere, right? And the penalties, Dallas is a team that, if you look over the last, 17, 18, 20 games, they take 0, 1, 2, 3 penalties a game. And so after the second, we were already at, a 5-2 disadvantage. And our defensemen had taken too many men on the ice, which that's a first for me. So tough with 6 defensemen to have 2 of them, 2 changes that you get caught on. So, Matthew scores a big power play goal, make it 1-1, and then it's, I was glad Michael's line, even though Tanny gets the game winner, was good because the tying goal that they scored was against Michael's line after they kept it in there for 20 or 30 seconds. So it was, it was good to see them score the winner as a line, and then the empty netter too.
Michael's role in that it may not be seen on the score sheet, but in front of the net, and you talk about getting in front of the net, sometimes it's not to score the goals.
Dallas has killed us. If you look at it, doesn't matter. You got to win draws. Even their power play goal, we lose the draw clean. We got our two veteran centermen on the ice. So face-offs are a big part. If you look at it, face-offs, penalties, things like that, win-lose games.
And, can you recall, I guess, the last time in a 5-on-5 game that it got down to 3-on-3 because of penalties back and forth like that?
It was 3-on-3, 4-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-4. Yeah, it was kind of weird. No, did I call? I don't think wouldn't happen too often. I doubt ever.
That's three too many men penalties in the last 2 games. Is there any explanation for that? Are these just mental errors that players are making?
Well, I just said there was defensemen took too many men penalties tonight. They know who they got. It's pretty simple. They're a right-handed defenseman, so there's 3 righties between the 3 of them.
All right, we're good.
Good.
All right, there's some thoughts from head coach Darryl Sutter on the victory here tonight. Obviously, a big one against the Dallas Stars, the division title in there as well. Obviously there was a lot of power play time, a lot of specialty teams times to begin this game. They weathered both of it on both sides of the puck, obviously, and kind of settled into a rhythm there in the third period. What do you make of the early, obviously special time and specialty teams time? This has been the hardest thing for me to say tonight, and I don't know why.
I didn't have to say it.
Special
That's
teams
great.
Time, whatever you want to call it. There were some power plays there. Dietz,
Yes.
what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of me, I guess, was a little bit surprised because this is a Dallas team who's, they're in a playoff spot right now, but they got the Vegas Golden Knights hot on their heels. They got a big win last night, so suddenly this playoff picture is looking a little bit different. That's a long way of saying for a team that's coming in this desperate and was given opportunities. The Flames took 2 bench minors tonight. That's a golden opportunity to get back in a game. They didn't take full advantage of those at all, but at the same time, credit to the Flames penalty kill because we know how good that's been over the course of the entire season. Yeah. Aggressive, that's kind of been their calling card, and they were that tonight against Dallas's more skilled players. And you do that, you snuff out the opportunities, and you get back to work 5-on-5. That's what they did, and that's what they've been so good at this year, which I think is what impresses me so much.
Well, and particularly early on. I mean, when this game is still up for grabs, and obviously, as he mentioned, you go kind of 5-on-4, 4-on-4, 4-on-3, and then back up to 5-on-4. Yeah. It takes a little bit of the rhythm out of it, and Milan Lucic talked about that in the first intermission, just about trying to play 5-on-5, but obviously felt like their game was in good shape. I want to ask you a little bit about the urgency level too. You kind of touched on it right off the start. Matthew brought up Vegas from a week ago, and just the difference maybe from that game here last week to what we saw here tonight. You guys wanted it tonight.
For sure. For me, that was the most impressive thing that you're taking away from a game like this, because I think it's easy from the outside to say that, the Flames coming in don't have a ton on the line. Whether or not they clinch the division tonight, in all likelihood, they were going to within the next few days. But, he said it. That game against Vegas last week, fresh on their mind. 6-1 loss. That was a desperate team coming in. The Flames obviously did not have their best that night. But, Matthew said, well, why can't we be the desperate team tonight too? There's a ton on the line. You talked about home ice advantage, and we're leaving here at the end of the night Pacific Division champions. There's probably some swag kicking around the locker room as well. These are big deals, and we can't, diminish the fact that a division title, while it might just be a regular season accomplishment, as the coach alluded to there, it is worth celebrating because they've worked this hard to get to this point and set themselves up well going into the playoffs.
It's a long season, and you got to celebrate some of those milestones. Yeah. That is one of them, certainly tonight for the Calgary Flames, up to 106 points, 48 victories on the season. And as Darryl said, it goes up in the rafters. Doesn't allow you, doesn't give you much, but it is a night to celebrate for that accomplishment alone. And still 4 more games left to add to that as well. Let's go back inside the press conference room and hear some more post-game reaction here following the Flames' 4-2 win over Dallas. Here's Matthew Tkachuk and Michael Backlund standing by.
Matthew, I know you said this morning that maybe 100 points wasn't a huge one for you. That celebration maybe said a little bit different. What does that mean to you to reach that mark and 40 goals, first time for this franchise in 11 years?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably more excited about the 40, to be completely honest. But it was just like the time of the game, everything, no score, like getting the first one. Just super excited, but and yeah, toe picked because of it. And but coolest part for me was the guys coming in and how they were way more excited than I was. I didn't think that could be possible. So and going through the line and seeing everybody, and just even with them after, like they're so excited for me, and that's just, can't put that into words really.
Of course, you're a high pick of this franchise. You've been here for a long time, and just I guess, what does it mean to have your face on the jumbotron and hear the crowd go crazy for that?
Yeah, normally, this is really the only place in the whole league that would give me a applause like that. So it was, I think that's, maybe after maybe the hat trick the other week, I kind of got a big applause, but nothing compared to that one. And that was really, really cool and very special. And I don't know, kind of fitting, I guess, because, would have loved to get it with my parents in attendance in Nashville, but got to beat my dad there. So that was pretty cool. And then to get it at home in front of these unbelievable fans that have been so great to me my whole career is so special. I had one of my best buddies here too from St. Louis that got to see it. So all in all, really cool night.
Michael, I know you haven't played a lot with Matthew this year, but over the career you have, what does it mean to see him reach this milestone? And I guess your thoughts on him having a 40-goal year too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Really happy for him. You can tell right away when he stepped into the league, he was a special player, special character on the ice. Love scoring goals and being a big-time player. Yeah, he's just been getting better every year, and this year's taken it to another level, and the whole line's been playing well, and yeah, I'm very happy for Chucky.
What happened with the toe pick? Just so much speed in the celly?
No, not enough. There was just a lot going on. Mange was coming. I had my arms out like for a hug, and then I was just one of those just kind of blacked out moments. But yeah, just super excited.
How much does it mean? Like, how important is it to you that it's not just 100 points, right? That it's the division title as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, if that happened in a loss, I guarantee you, myself or the rest of the team wouldn't be as excited about it. I can guarantee that about myself. So, and going into the year, we thought that we had a really good team, and I thought I said it earlier. That first little bit on the road kind of set the tone for us, and then what we did after the All-Star break at home, really, like in our minds, we realized that home ice is very important, and to get as many games at home and to get the majority of the games in a series in your own building, that's huge for us. So that was to clinch the division, and that's great. But we're not stopping there. We don't want to, and we've got bigger goals for our team.
Maybe a similar question for you, Michael. You've been around a long time at a division title. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, it's exciting. It feels good. We did it on our own. We clinched. Got helped by Edmonton doing it. It feels a lot better winning the division by us winning rather than losing. So, it was a great night, like Chucky said. We tried getting 100 points, big win. Crowds were into it, so very special night. And but also, like Chucky said, we're not satisfied yet. We want to do something really big here. We know we can do it. And but yeah, it's it's an accomplishment to win the division. It's a long season, so the guys have done a great job. I'm really proud of our team.
How did it feel to see Towns' goal go in with you right there with a good view of it after having the tying goal go in against your line earlier?
Yeah, no, it felt great. That's hockey. We were super excited to score that first, and then 2-1, and then they tied it, and then we wanted to get it back, and we did, and it was a great feeling, and an even better feeling seeing the fourth going in, knowing the game was over.
Coach just talked about getting to the hard areas, and you didn't get either one of those, but you were right there for both those third period goals. Is that kind of the thing? Sometimes it's not just to score, but it's just to take away the view and all that. Like, good things happen when you're around the front of the net. Yeah,
we talked about it all year, and especially lately we talked about it. That's how you score down the stretch and in playoffs. And I was just trying to get available, and it's a good job our D too getting pucks through, and just super excited to see them go in. It was a big win for us, and but it's something we definitely talked about getting in there, and like you said, not just scoring, also screening and tipping pucks.
Matthew, is it almost symbolic that the milestone goal happened from the spot where you've scored a large percentage of your goals in your career?
Yeah, I'd say that's, if I was a betting man, I would say that was probably had the best odds for me to score that one from that spot. I mean, I feel comfortable around the net. I like being around the net, and the way things have been going this year, it's fitting that Johnny was in on it too, and just all in all, big goal at an important time, and then they unfortunately got one right after that, but it just felt nice.
You kind of went as far on the road as saying like 100 would be pretty cool, but when it actually happens, does the significance, like not many guys do it, does the significance hit you?
I don't think it hits immediately. I think what hits immediately is, I never would have imagined that happening, and would I have been lying, after getting asked, over and over and over again, if it was in the back of my head somewhere? I mean, it was, but kind of like I said earlier this morning, if we win, our team's playing well, and I'm sure something is going to happen these last few games. And when it did, it's a feeling that you can't really explain, and seeing the guys make an even bigger deal about it, that was way cooler to me.
Have you got to...
The puck will probably go. They do a great job here of making the nice plaques, and that they grabbed my stick too right after that too. Depot did, so that was awesome, and parents' basement for sure.
Have you looked at your phone since the game ended?
I have not. No, I have not, and hopefully. Late games here, hopefully people stayed up for it. I imagine they did. So if the people that didn't stay up, I'll probably get a text tomorrow. But lots of excitement from family, friends, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like.
Michael, all the regular season goals have been accomplished. What's, I guess, the importance of finishing the year strong over these next 4 games here for your team?
We want to go into playoffs with a good feeling. Want to win the games going down the stretch here, and also we want to, finish second in the conference. So that's something we're looking at too, to get that spot. You never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, so that's going to be important as well, so we can, get some home ice. But just keeping that winning mentality going and playing the right way all the way in, so we're really prepared when the puck drops.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.
Flames post-game live brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers. Calgary Flames 4-2 winners over the Dallas Stars and Pacific Division champions here tonight. There you heard from Matthew Tkachuk on goal number 40 and point number 100, which he talked about maybe the goal 40th of the season, hasn't done in his career. It's a tough league to score in, and you heard a little bit from him just about the moment, and maybe caught him off guard a little bit just in terms of how much it meant to him.
Yeah, emotions, and we were sitting here talking about it as it was unfolding. He's a guy who typically plays everything pretty cool, but he got back to the bench after being mobbed by his teammates, and I think the volume started rising a little bit in the building. He gets the standing ovation. I think he buried his head for a second.
The smile on the bench.
The smile just kind of overcame him, and you know what? That's great to see, because the work he's put in this year, those are the moments you should be able to enjoy, and pretty cool, too, that he follows it up after being able to celebrate with his dad the other night, too, as he told you during the second intermission, kind of the perfect script to it all.
Well said. And a guy that has helped get him pucks, and they've worked it around quite well. Elias Lindholm, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention him on this postgame show, because I know he doesn't figure into the stat sheet as much. He doesn't get his 40th of the season. It's Matthew that's the first to get to that number, but it wasn't for lack of chances. Elias had some really good looks here tonight, and maybe just a thought on number 28's work tonight and how important he is to everything that we see from the top line.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff he does nightly, right? It didn't result in the goal tonight, but if it's not for a save like that from Jake Ottinger, obviously he is getting on the sheet. So, yeah, we talk about Matthew Tkachuk hitting 40 and 100 points, and Johnny Gaudreau is in the middle of an Art Ross chase, and, you know, very well is in the Hart Trophy conversation as well. This is a guy who's having a Selke caliber season too. So all three of these guys, the season that they've had and the chemistry that they've had together, I mean, they were put together late last year and we didn't really know what to expect after having some immediate success, but incredible to think that it's just carried on straight through to this point in the season. And now we're heading into the playoffs with a top line that is easily one of the best in hockey right now.
Yeah, interesting to see how it all shakes out over the last 4 games of this regular season. And here is some of the fresh merch, and it is Pacific Division champs. T-shirts we've seen first time since 2018, 2019, 7th time in team history. Obviously the 3rd best season in franchise history as well. And the merch is out now, and you can pre-order it. CGYteamstore.ca. Go on there and the pre-sale, and obviously you'll have an opportunity to wear this. And not done yet. Calgary Flames have some more business to attend to, but pretty special night here at the Scotiabank Saddledome as they get the victory, number 48 on the season. They clinch the division title, and Matthew Tkachuk enjoying a little bit of success here as well. Goal 40 and point number 100 on the season. And with that, we'll send it out as Matthew Tkachuk, the big night tonight, 140.
Shot and a goal. Elias Lindholm with his first. Tkachuk now at center. Lindholm to Tkachuk, and he scores! Here's Lindholm. Tkachuk scores! Gaudreau bodied by Trouba. Here's a chance. Tkachuk. They score! Away to Tkachuk, who's going to pick it up at the Rangers line and drop it off to Gaudreau. Gaudreau daggles in and shoots and scores! 5-0 lead, looking to add to it. What a beautiful goal by Matthew Tkachuk! Held in by Lindholm, who leaves it right point. Anderson with a pass. Tkachuk bounces it in front. They score! Puck to the corner. Dylan puts it around, but it's picked off. Played in front. They score! Chipped in by Tkachuk. Gaudreau scores! Play it to Gaudreau. He sends it back in front. They score. Play to the line of Tanev, long shot. They score! Tkachuk on the tip-in. Up the right wing side, he stops and drops Lindholm in front. Tkachuk scores! Incredible hand-eye coordination by Matthew Tkachuk. Lindholm shoots a big save, but Tkachuk scores. Line to Anderson. Anderson saucers it, near circle, Tkachuk in front, Monahan scores! The puck back though, another chance, Gaudreau, Tkachuk, what a goal! Got his foot on that pass, Tkachuk scores between the legs! You gotta be kidding me! Gaudreau takes a look, side of the goal, back in front, scores! Puck beyond the net, Tkachuk centers it, Lindholm shoots and scores! To Rosselman, popped it up to Little. There's a chance for Tkachuk. It's Gaudreau. Tkachuk scores! In and drops. Gaudreau centers. Tkachuk shoots and scores! Towards the corner, bouncing puck played in front. Tkachuk scores! Pass to the middle. Lindholm to Tkachuk. He scores on the power play. Gaudreau moving up. He shoots, and that's blocked. It's in the feed. Now Tkachuk shoots, and he scores! Moves the bucket to the far corner. Tkachuk centers to Foley. Scores! And now Tkachuk. Nice pass. Here's Dubé. Scores! Matthew Tkachuk in now with a shot. He scores! Moves it rink wide. Tkachuk flips it in front. Lindholm geeks and scores! Gaudreau in. Centers it. Tkachuk shoots and scores! Gaudreau's pass. Tkachuk scores! Here's a fumble, and Tkachuk on a breakaway scores. drops it off to Anderson. Back to the line, Hannafin shoots, scores! Tkachuk tipped it, and it's a 1-1 game. Tkachuk trying to get it in front, scores! Matthew Tkachuk, and that'll be point number 100 for Johnny Gaudreau.
And here come the hats. Matthew Tkachuk completes his second career hat trick. Down low to Tkachuk, he shoots and scores!